हेलो दोस्तों, आज हम लेने वाले हैं 100 वर्ड पर मिनट इंग्लिश लीगल डिक्टेशन। बी रेडी फॉर इट। 10 सेकेंड, 5 सेकेंड, स्टार्ट। Paragraph. The relation existing between the defendant and the plaintiff at the time of the accident was that of master and servant, and the primary duty imposed upon the defendant towards the plaintiff in the course of his employment by reason of this relation was to furnish him reasonably safe tools, machinery, and appliances with which to work. The tools or machinery used need not be of the safest, best, nor of the most improved kind. It is sufficient if they are reasonably safe and adapted to the purpose of the employment. If the master fails to observe this rule of law, the injury results to his servant. From such failure, he becomes liable, therefore, on the ground of negligence in the performance of his duty. The master must use all reasonable care and prudence for the safety of the servant, having regard to the character of the work to be performed. Such care must be in proportion to the danger of the employment. Servant has the right to rely on the master for the performance this duty without inquiry on his part. The servant assumes no risk whatever as to such primary duty at the time he enters upon his employment, but he does assume all the ordinary risks incident to the employment, such as are patent, seen and known, or which may be seen and known by the ordinary use of his senses. And he is required to exercise due care and caution in the course of his employment to avoid dangers and injuries, for the master, having performed the primary duties inquired by him, is not an insurer of the safety of his servants. Paragraph. It is the duty of the master also to maintain said tools and machinery in a reasonably safe condition so long as they are continue in use. If the master knows, or by the use of due diligence might known, that the tools and machinery in use in his business are not reasonably safe, it is negligence on his part to fail to remedy and correct the defects of which he has knowledge, or by the exercise of due diligence he might discover. Notice to the foreman or person in general charge of the business, or having charge and control of the men and the cars, that the machinery is unsafe and dangerous, is in law notice to the master, and after the receipt of such notice it would be negligence on the part of the master to fail to make such machinery reasonably safe for the servant in his employment. But in such case, the master would not be liable if the servant, having knowledge of such defect, continued to use such machinery. The servant must always exercise such care and caution to avoid danger as the circumstances reasonably require, and the greater the danger, the greater the care, diligence, and caution required.